Welcome to the Values Exchange podcast. I'm Mike Cruz, your host, author of Saturday Every Day, private pilot, and CEO of North Texas Wealth Management, a firm dedicated to values-based financial planning. Hey, we're here today to talk about the value of giving back through time, and my guest today is AJ Micheletto. A great example of donating her time and giving back to the community. AJ, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, I know you're involved in multiple organizations and you've been marketing director and kind of, the marketing queen for small businesses and nonprofits and giving back. And kind of walk me through the journey. So you didn't start out there. You were really working corporate America, right? You went to A&M, and then where'd you go from there?
So when I graduated from grad school from A&M, it was right after 9/11, and there wasn't a lot of job opportunities. And I decided, hey, I hadn't lived on the West Coast. Let's make a jump. And I did that, and I went out there and started working for Starbucks in the actual store level.
Okay.
Not necessarily what I went to grad school for, but hey, it was a job. And while I was there, I was able to connect with a local nonprofit. And this nonprofit was one that was geared towards foster children.
Okay.
And their mission, and when I learned more about them, I really got myself involved. And through that, I was able to get our region area stores to start doing toy drives, school supply drives, and the nonprofit Support for the Kids actually asked me to be on their board. So at 23, I was on the first board of a nonprofit for me, and that's really how my journey started.
Wow, that's really neat. Mm-hmm. And so what made you really kind of do the switch and kind of leave corporate America, start working with small businesses and nonprofits? Was there an event that got you to think that way?
I became a mom.
Okay.
So being a mom, I was transferred here to Dallas to be in the marketing department for Starbucks. And, marketing is a lot of nights, weekends, holidays. And as soon as I had my son, it was very obvious that I needed to step back from that world.
Okay.
But I continued to give. There were other organizations within McKinney that I started volunteering with. I got very active in my children's school and just continued to have that need to give back whenever I could.
Nice. Okay, so kind of walk me through, what organizations are you working with now? I know you work with a lot of small businesses and nonprofits, and it's kind of a long list there. So my predominant job is the marketing director for the Love Life Foundation, which is an organization that's been around for 33 years and was founded by the mayor and First Lady of McKinney. Okay. I work and I represent a lot of their businesses: Texas Homegrown Music, the Guitar Sanctuary, the Sanctuary, George C. Fuller Contracting. But then I also work for another gentleman. His name is Jason Burris, and he has Burris Injury Law, The Rook, which is a new event venue in McKinney. And he also has a foundation, the Burris Community Foundation, which, again, gives back to the community. So both of the main companies or individuals that I work with have this real need and desire to give back to our community. Oh, that's great. I don't know a whole lot about the Love Life Foundation. So what do they do that's unique?
So the Love Life Foundation is something that is so precious to my heart. Love the life you live, right? That is one of the things that you see a lot. And it was started 33 years ago, predominantly to help women and children in need. Over the years, it's kind of changed slightly. Now our organization, we still focus on those in need, but we do, right now we're in the middle of a school supply drive to help MISD students, middle school students, have backpacks and all the school supplies that they need moving forward. Collin County is one of the richest counties in Texas, but yet we still have over 30% of our children non-food subsidized programs. So the need is really there. We also do an angel drive. we do a coat drive, but then other organizations come to us requesting sponsorships, requesting help, and we help provide resources to them to help, their mission, extend their mission. So if it's a startup, and we had a woman that wanted to do a coffee trailer for special needs children, to give them the ability to work, and that was one of the organizations that Love Life helped and provided resources to help get that started.
Wow, that's amazing. What's the size of the organization? I mean, so it's 33 years. I mean, but usually you have a few people just kind of really driving the charge. Has it grown?
Well, it has grown, but I'm actually one of the only paid employees. We only myself, and we have a bookkeeper part-time, but other than that, it's all volunteer based. So we have a very significant volunteer base that come in on a continual basis. Our community has truly embraced us. So whenever we are able to see a need and we ask for specific items or a specific resource, our community really does have the desire to give back, just like we do. So it makes our job a lot easier when you get the calls, hey, how can I help? How can I volunteer? And they do that on a regular basis.
Yeah. So working with small businesses, nonprofits, on the marketing front, is it pretty similar, or you find that it's very like a stark difference?
I would say a nonprofit is a small business a lot of times. I mean, at least our nonprofit with the size and the reach that we have. And the only difference is the heart behind it sometimes. Yeah. I'm really blessed to work for individuals that have the heart to give. And so if it's not something that the nonprofit can potentially, it doesn't align with the mission, the owners will come in and say, you know what, we're going to go ahead and do that anyways, and they'll do it upon themselves. I mean, the mayor and first lady, I can't tell you the number of times that they're like, oh, don't worry about it. It doesn't really go with our mission, but we'll take care of it ourselves. And so when you're marketing a small business and you're marketing a nonprofit, when the people behind it are truly good humans, it makes it a really easy job for you.
Yeah, nothing better than that. Yeah, my mom, actually grew up in foster homes and actually ended up in an orphanage, and those were some of her, actually great times in her life, is when she was actually at the orphanage, and friendships and such. But she remembers the time that somebody bought her a pair of blue jeans, because she didn't really have anything, and so it does make a difference. And it's one of those things that she became a nurse, went in the Air Force, and really went far in life. But looking back, it just those little things that you do for kids during that time, it's big. It matters.
Right now, being in the backpack drive, we have a goal of 300 backpacks, and I will tell you that in 3 years, the price has gone up by approximately $25 a backpack. So now these middle school backpacks are costing us about in between $100 and $204.
Wow.
So for a family in need, that's a significant amount of money. But also, a lot of organizations, and I'm not saying this is bad one way or the other, but a lot of organizations, they'll get all the same backpack and all the same supplies, and then the kids go to school and they like, oh, we know this person got the free backpack. And so our organization, we really pride ourselves to put ourselves in the shoes of the children and making sure that we get a wide variety of backpacks. And we make sure that the items inside are ones that will last them for an entire year.
Yeah.
Or when it is angel tree time, we sit there and we review all of the different lists and make sure that the kids get at least one thing on their list. And I will say my why happened when I was in California, and I had a young man that I was responsible for getting the gift. And he had been in the foster care system for about 7 years. And he was a teenager, he was about 14. And I had his present, didn't know him. I was so excited about getting this gift for him. And I handed it to him, and he goes, oh, it's not going to be what I wanted anyways. And then he opened it up. And to see this kid that had obviously a chip on his shoulder from what he's gone through,
Sure.
to in one moment, the shoulders shrink and the tears start flowing. That changes someone's life.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was a pair of shoes that was $100. But for that kid, it was the first time in his life that he ever received something that he had wanted.
Had wanted, yeah. So it seems like it helped his life. It seems like it changed yours.
It changed. I mean, I was 23.
Yeah.
That was like, those moments. And now I share those moments with my kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been a single mom for many years. And, you know, during COVID, I worked for a food pantry, and that also provided rent and utility assistance. But every weekend, we had food distributions. And my kids came along with me, and we were, would open the box. And my daughter turned to me and she goes, Mom, they're waiting for hours for this. And it's like peanut butter. It's staples. Peanut butter, spaghetti, beans. Right? I was like, well, honey, this is allowing them to eat. And these are the reasons that people are here. Is, you know, if they're not spending money on their food, then maybe they can spend their money and they can pay their rent that day.
Right.
And that moment was that aha moment. And both of my kids actively give back with me and have that need. And for me, my number one thing as a mom was just to make sure that they became good humans and that they were thinking of others before they think of themselves.
Big, yeah. So, golden rule, treat people how you want to be treated. And I think, it's just easy to go through life. We have our own struggles and not be aware of, and especially like you said, Collin County, one of the wealthiest counties in the United States. And then it's hard to really comprehend that somebody's struggling to buy a backpack. Even though prices are up and, school supplies we just looked at that. It's like, wow, this is expensive, trying to get the kids back to school. But if you don't have the means to do so, I can't imagine how stressful that might be. So,
and it's happening more and more and more. We're seeing the need continuing to increase. Mm-hmm. And, as our city grows, as McKinney grows, we're going to continue to see that need grow. So, organizations like ours, and we are really blessed in North Texas because we have so many nonprofits that help a wide range. So if you're not interested in volunteering your time for an organization like ours that helps women, that helps children, that helps, other organizations, there are plenty out there that you can choose from the SPCA to, you can find something that can help specific animals. There's so many causes that you can find your passion. And to give doesn't take a lot of time. It could be an hour, but that does make a difference.
Yeah. And I think that's probably, at some point we're all guilty of that. We get busy and you think, man, I would really like to do that. And maybe in retirement, I'll have time to volunteer. I'll have time to give back. But here you are working, single parent, and still finding the time. So how do you find the time? Like, what would you tell that person? It's like, oh, I don't have time, but one day I'll do it. How do you go inspire them to like, yeah, you have time now?
For me, it was a moment that I could have with my kids. I've changed my mindset on giving my children gifts, and I would rather give them memories. And so this is something that I am instilling in them so that when they move on and they are trying to give or have the ability to give, that it reminds them of that one time with mom. And so you work it into your schedule. Tomorrow, I'm going to have another backpack stuffing party at our office where we're going to stuff another 100 backpacks to provide to the middle schools. And my children will both be there and will be helping. And it's going to the grocery store with the kids or going to the grocery store on the way home. I knew that we're going to need plastic pronged folders. So I went ahead and picked up 10, boxes of plastic pronged folders along with my food. That took me 5 minutes. So there is time in your day to make a difference. You just have to work it in. You just figure it out. And that's the best that I can say that I've done in my life. But I also have the best job on the planet because I get to give every day. That's part of what I do. And so it's automatically built into my career choice.
Yeah. No, that's great. And I think, it really is just about priorities, right? And so making that a priority to give back and being maybe more conscious and aware of it. And, we can find the time. And I think understanding that there really is a huge need and then doing something small that makes a big impact in someone's life is you get more back, at the end of the day. I always say, like, I feel so good by, donating my time or giving back that, like, you almost feel like, wait a minute, I feel like it's in reverse, right? I'm getting more than I'm giving. And
well, when you're a single mom, and there are so many other things that can pull you in all different directions, but you do something together for someone else, then the conversations that you have in the car on the way back, they're learning opportunities. They're, oh my gosh, that was the best ever. There are so many moments that going to a movie, that wouldn't help. Going to buy a shirt, and we all need to do all those things, and I do all of those things as well. But we have more productive and meaningful conversations after we've done something for someone else than we do any other time.
Yeah.
And that is building that into your life and building it into their life. My kids don't know any different. And so as a parent, I encourage parents. I mean, my kids were little. My daughter was, I want to say, in 2nd or 3rd grade when she really started carrying boxes. I'm like, okay, you can carry it. It's Mom, it's heavy. You got this. I trust you. But they're never too young. They can still help. They can help sort stuff. They can help do stuff. And it's a way to do something together that's meaningful.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah, and I think everybody looks back at probably when you were involved in something charitable early on and, reflect on that as, like you said, you remember it. You're like, oh, remember that movie we watched back? No, I don't, so.
Yeah,
that's really big. So I think, definitely COVID time period was really challenging for most organizations. What happened in the nonprofit world? What was that
So the
harder time?
It was a extremely difficult time. We were dealing with a crisis that we have never experienced in our lifetime. But a very unique thing happened as well. It showed us the need to collaborate.
Okay.
So in McKinney, we created an organization called One Heart McKinney that provided immediate grants to those in need, but it also helped be a conduit of bringing nonprofits together.
Okay.
Before that, I would say a lot of nonprofits would say, hey, some of them would work together, but I don't want to be too close because that might hit our donor a little bit differently, or we're all trying. There's money out there for all of us, right? But bringing us together, we work more efficiently and effectively together. And I would say that would be the biggest change that I saw in our community about us all coming together, realizing what the need was and tackling that need together.
Nice.
because too many of us were doing similar things, and we could say, okay, you're taking this and we have this, and it was amazing to see the collaboration of all these nonprofits working together for the same thing.
Right. And so has that continued?
It has. Our community is amazing. We have an amazing leadership. I mean, 100% of our council, mayor, city manager donated to our backpack drive to give back.
Wow.
I mean, 100%. And it's leaders like them that are constantly out there in our community, constantly giving back, bringing people together that, continues that momentum of what happened during COVID. And we're still seeing the signs of COVID and how, prices have skyrocketed and how that affects every individual.
Sure.
And so those in need, it really drastically affects them. For us, here's a real world example that's happening right now. Our backpack drive, ours is specifically for middle school, but we will receive Elmer's glue, crayons, things that aren't appropriate for the middle school backpack drive, backpacks that have, characters on them.
Yeah.
We actually have an organization that we take all of those items to give to them because their backpack drive, it is appropriate, and vice versa. And so this is something that we do on a regular basis. Is, hey, we've gotten this donation, we only need this much. Could you use some of it? Absolutely. That's how we work together, and that's how we are able to reach more people.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, we always say, like, even with food, it's not really that we don't have enough food; it's a distribution problem. And so it sounds like with the resources that you have, you're really solving that distribution problem, getting it to those that are in need. Well,
the Love Life Foundation definitely works with other nonprofits on a regular basis. Okay. We have one in September called Food Stock that helps McKinney Little Free Pantry stock their pantry. And so that's something that we collaborate together every year to help feed those in need in our community. And we do that with other organizations throughout the year as well.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. That's incredible. You're a part of that. I know that's not all that you do. And it's funny because McKinney is a unique city. And I worked with an attorney, and he said, McKinney was voted one of the number one cities in America. And he goes, I got voted the number one attorney in McKinney. So it pretty much makes me the number one. And I was like, no, you are an attorney, trying to connect the dots here. But, McKinney is unique. And I know that you're involved in so much of what they do in kind of downtown McKinney Square. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit more about those things and the music festival. I'm just fascinated. What's all that about?
I have the amazing opportunity to be the co-chair for McKinney Main Street. And our board comes together to look at all the festivals and events that happen in downtown. And we have a very unique downtown. It is, you walk in and it's the nostalgia of our historic downtown McKinney. You feel it the minute you walk in. And so we really make sure our festivals are consistent with what our community is wanting. We have the very first weekend, or Friday and Saturday in June, we have a music festival called Texas Music Revolution. And our downtown is turned into a music festival with stages throughout. People come experience this Americana country style music that's put on by KHYI, Main Street, the city of McKinney, as well as Texas Homegrown Music. And it is a blast just to be able to experience the music in your hometown. I mean, people bring their chairs and plop them down. And this year we had Lyle Lovett and Lucas Nelson on the main stage, which were incredible artists. And we have on Texas Homegrown Music, a lot of times our stage has a lot of the up-and-comers. And so this year, some of the people that were on the main stage were actually on our stage the year before. So we really target those individuals that have extreme talent and are just on their way up.
Nice.
So it's a great variety. Anybody that loves music, you can find something that you would like.
So really fascinated with the nonprofit, and I know a lot of people are passionate about that as well. So what would you say to a listener that is like, wow, I want to get involved in nonprofits and not really knowing where to start? How do they start down that journey of getting more involved?
So the Love Life Foundation is a great way to start. If you're in McKinney, Frisco, Plano area, we work with so many different organizations, and it can be just a small step into finding what you're passionate about. You can find out more what we do at lovelifefoundation.com. But there's something that's coming up in September. It happens in September every year. It's called North Texas Giving Day. And that's when nonprofits throughout North Texas come together and we register. And it's a huge call to action to get people to donate. But it's also a great resource that you can go and you can actually search a type of organization based on where they're located, what they work with, the areas that they serve. And it gives you an opportunity to see what's available, whether it's in your area, it's your passion. And that, I would say, would be a great opportunity to really find what that niche is that you would like to get involved in.
Right, so it's evident you're passionate about it. How do people find and kind of identify what they're passionate about, and so they can get more involved?
I would say the best opportunity is just get out there and try. Just because you might try something and it doesn't work out that first time doesn't mean that there isn't something else out there that you could find that you are passionate about. I found out really early on that I had a passion for youth and the at-risk and need. But, my son, his first time that he reached out and wanted to do something on his own was for animals. And he still loves that piece of it, even though a lot of what we do is with humans. There's always an opportunity. And you could go and volunteer one time, and it's not going to hurt anybody's feeling if you don't come back.
Right.
You need to find your passion. If you find your passion of what you want to give, then you can find the time. It's a lot easier to find time for something that pulls at your heartstrings, and you just have to find what that is.
Yeah. For me, as a pilot, there's an organization that, basically helps get patients that can't reach treatment in, Houston or MD Anderson. And so they have, long way to travel. And so there's an organization that really, Angel Flight. And so for me, flying's my hobby. It's my passion. And so finding an organization that I get to fly and give back, and you see the difference that you make in people's lives, it's like, yeah, you're hooked, right?
Absolutely. Well, that just gave me goosebumps just you talking about that. So that I could see how that could be a passion for you.
That's good. So all of this, I lost track of, the titles and the roles, but aspirations, where are you going? What are you going to do next? I've just started in the city aspect with being on the board for Main Street. And there are so many other organizations and boards in our city that truly help make a difference. And McKinney's the first place that I would ever call home. I've lived there for almost 20 years. And before that, the longest I ever lived anywhere was 4. And so this was a city that I have raised my kids in. I have really invested in, and I would like to continue to serve our city and the people that come and visit, or the people that choose to make it home and really make it the best that it can be. For somebody that is, excited about the Love Life Foundation and what you have, what's kind of the next events? What's coming up that they might be able to get involved? So we actually have 2 big events, one of which is Food Stock that will happen in September. And that's a great opportunity for people to bring food to Market Street in McKinney and provide resources to help McKinney's Little Free Pantry. And then the second one, which is, again, very near and dear to my heart, is our Angel Tree. And our Angel Tree significantly increased last year. We served over 300 children last year. And so the need, I know, just not for our organization, for organizations across the board, if you have an opportunity to give
and select an angel, please go out there, whether it's with the Love Life Foundation or someone else. Make a difference in the life of a kid. What we give a lot of times are the only things that they may have under the tree. And so really that's a great opportunity to also start and just doing something small, but that gives back and means a lot. So if you want to support the Love Life Foundation Angel Drive, all you need to do is go to lovelifefoundation.com. In November, once we get our angels from MISD, we'll have a link. And in that link, you'll actually be able to, it will send you to a website that you can select your angel. It will tell you their age. It will tell you what they want and makes it really easy for you.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Values Exchange podcast. I hope that you've learned something and hopefully it's inspired you to get involved and give back to the community.